Okay, Eric here, the San Fernando Valley Dude. Gonna just show you a quick Hidden Hills area. Actually, Hidden Hills started in 1961, was just like a little horse community out here, and now it's turned into full celebrity mansions at Hidden Hills, including the Kardashians, and Lisa Marie Presley used to live in there. I'm not sure if she still does. Marvin Gaye lived in there years ago. And actually our family lived in there in 1973 or something for a couple of years. But here we are coming up to the entrance of Hidden Hills, just so you can see it here. This is the 101 freeway over here. Okay, now this is it. Can't go in because it's a guard-gated community, but I'll park over here just for a second so you can kind of get an idea of what Hidden Hills is. There you go. Yeah, a lot of celebrities live in here, very famous people. Again, I said the Kardashians have a huge home here. It's just a really beautiful place. It's surrounded by a few miles of horse trails, and every house has these little white picket fence around it with a sign out in front, like these little signs that actually have your name, family name or whatever on it in front of the home. It's a really cool place to live if you've got the big bucks. So you definitely need the big bucks to live in Hidden Hills. We're going to zip over to Calabasas area here real quick, just so you can see that place as well. We've got the nursery here that's been here for a long time, and I believe it's sold, and this whole piece of property here is going to end up something, I'm sure. Who knows? I hope it's not a big hotel or a big building or something, but here we are at Hidden Hills, and we're going to zip over to Calabasas. Now, as you leave Hidden Hills, all you have to do is turn left out of the gate. Got the freeway here, and you turn on Valley Circle right here. Traffic here is getting horrendous. And this will take you down into Old Town Calabasas. Calabasas, I believe, means pumpkin. And they used to have the original pumpkin festival here, and it was just a sleepy little, there was nothing out here back in the old days, obviously, but this was kind of like the Old West out here. They had a hangman's tree where real people were hung, which is coming up here. It's not here anymore. They got rid of the tree just, I don't know, 10 years ago. It's kind of a bummer. But this is Old Town Calabasas. So you can see it right here. Over here to the left is where the hangman's tree was. I think there's a little bell by it. They had the Sundance Saloon there, which is a lot of partying going on. This is the Sagebrush Cantina. This place started out as a tiny little storefront, and now it's just turned into the massive whole side of the, taking up everything. And then we're going to zip over here real quick into Leonis Adobe. Now this, I believe, is the original home. Has been here for many, many years. A plumber house, little museum here, and here's the Leonis Adobe. Obviously we're in my car. It's 100 and something degrees out here in California today. But you can check out the Adobe, which is really cool. Not sure if it's open right now again. They had it closed for a while, but it was like the first house on the street out here. And this area is where they held the Pumpkin Festival years ago. This whole area was full of little booths and whatnot at the Pumpkin Festival. Then they moved it out to another location after it got really big. But when I look back, it looks so small here now, but when I was younger, it seemed so big that this whole area was full of the Pumpkin Festival here in Calabasas. Now once we turn right out of the Adobe parking lot in Old Town Calabasas, this used to have just these little houses here. And right over there across the street, there used to be a tiny little home before any of those other structures were built. And my mother actually rented it out, this little home, and had a thank you, and had an art gallery here. It was called Calabasas Fine Arts Gallery, right in this little area here, right where that white building is. So there's definitely a lot of changes in Calabasas. Eric, San Fernando Valley Dude. This is Calabasas area. This is where the Calabasas Fine Arts Gallery used to be, and there was a little Calabasas Emporium right here next to it. And they were just these teeny little houses. My mother, I think I mentioned, had the Fine Arts Gallery, and she told me that the piece of property was actually owned by the Beachy family, the beechnut gum people. Actually own this piece of property here, and now it's all different. We've got a tennis shop here, and things look completely different. The trees are still here though, the big oak trees. So now we're down in Calabasas again, right across the street. That's the where the Pumpkin Festival used to be, and we've got the Leonis Adobe over here. You can see the Adobe. So this is actually the footprint of where the little two houses were. They were right next to this big tree, this big oak tree here. So there was a house right here, and the other one was right over here in that section. So a lot of changes in Calabasas over the years. Again, got the Leonis Adobe over there. I heard a lot of stories about old Miguel Leonis. He owned a lot of land out here in California, and I guess back in the late 1800s, there was a lot of definite Wild West stuff going on out here. Apparently there was a lot of murders and things that happened out in this area, and a lot of it had to do with the land. People were squatting on the land, and people were trying to own more land and take more land, and that's kind of what Miguel was doing, from what I was reading about him. Sagebrush Cantina. Used to be one little storefront here, but now I guess Bob McCord was the fellow that founded the Sagebrush Cantina. Had one little, I guess, there was like antique stores and shops through here as well. And little by little he kept taking over and expanding the cantina, which is a really fun place to go with live music and terrific Mexican food. So anyway, we're over by the Hangman's Tree, real close to it. Okay, this part of Calabasas. Now this is where the Sundance Saloon used to stand. I put pictures up of it. This whole section here, and this is the bell. They have these all along the state of California, these bells. El Camino Real. But this right here is where the Hangman's Tree stood. And it's too bad it's not there, because it was just really cool, just a cool part of the old Wild West here in Calabasas. Doing a lot of rework on the streets and stuff. Again, the cantina. Here we are, Calabasas. An old cart here. Okay, we're up close and personal with the Adobe here. It's closed right now, can't get in there. Maybe one of these days I'll be able to get in there and do a little tour inside the adobe, which is kind of cool. See, we got some old equipment in the back. But this house is like the only house around that still stands from the original Calabasas Old West. So we're going to come over here so you can see the grounds a little more. They got a nice little water tank here. And this is the plumber house. Hello. When do they open up here?
They're only open on the weekends.
Only on the weekends?
Yep.
I see. Is the adobe open
Only
yet?
on Saturday.
And that's still on the weekend as well, right?
Yeah, we do school tours during the weekend. Is open on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, great. Are there flyers on it? Is it one of these a flyer I could take?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you. She has to get to work fast. But anyway, this is the plumber house. I'm going to come back here. It says on the weekend I can do it. We got a bunch of sheep in here at the adobe. Hello. Hi, little sheep. Sheep in there. We got a little dog here with me today. Again, this is here we are. This is the actual footprint area where the Calabasas Pumpkin Festival used to be. All in this little area right here, all throughout here. It just took over and it kind of expanded into some of the areas across the street. But what the heck, we got some big steer in here I just saw. Yeah, we got some cool animals in here. And again, this is where the Pumpkin Festival used to be. It's now moved because it's gotten so big. We have an old horse trough here, which is really cool. From the old Wild West. Here's a funny story. Years ago when they had the Pumpkin Festival here, I was 16 years old when I came down here. And we got a job, me and my friends all got jobs here, and we were going to be the trash picker-uppers at the Pumpkin Festival. And what happened was the first day of the job, our boss decided to grab me and one of my buddies and decided to have us shovel a bunch of dirt around and to not pick up trash. So my friend and I looked at each other and said, forget it. We're not getting paid enough to do this. We're not doing it. So we basically walked off the job, got in my Volkswagen 69 VW van and headed out to go surfing at the beach. So there you go. Beautiful flowers here. Okay, now we're driving into Calabasas. Calabasas has a lot of very famous people who live up here. Justin Bieber and yikes, I think that Kylie Kardashian lives up here, and many other celebrities and sports stars and people that can afford a $5, $10, $20 million home. But just head up this street and there's a gated community up on the hill. Now here's one entrance to, it's called Westridge over here, and I believe this is the area where Justin Bieber lives, up in this particular community up on top of the hill. Now as you head further back, deeper into Calabasas, come back over here to where there's the Calabasas Golf and Country Club out here. You can see it over to the right. This is where you can see Caitlyn Jenner hanging out, and many many other stars and celebrities come play golf down here. It's a really cool private country club golf course down here in Calabasas, which we're coming up on the entrance in just a moment. But it's a really beautiful area, so you can look up on top of the hill there. That's where the big homes are. And this is where the country club is. Kind of the average people to the left. But if you go to the right, like over here, for the Calabasas Hills Estates, that's where you go. In there, you're going to round about here. And up here, there you go. So that's a little quick tour of Calabasas. So here we are, heading from Calabasas to the 101 freeway. Probably the worst time in the afternoon, and there's probably bumper to bumper traffic, but let's go check it out. Now if you go across the street over there, actually on the next exit, there's the LA Pet Cemetery over there, which is really neat. Has some of the famous movie stars from years ago. Their pets, many of their pets were actually buried there at the LA Pet Cemetery, which is again right across the street. Back in the old days, you could see it off the freeway. Well, now it's kind of buildings are in front of it. But I'll take a tour up there one day and check that out. There's some really, probably some cool things to check, you know, to see up there. Anyway, please check out my YouTube channel and subscribe to it. It's brand new. And I'm going to be giving you little tours of the San Fernando Valley here, especially the west end, from the San Fernando Valley Dude, who grew up, born and raised and bred here in the West San Fernando Valley. So please subscribe to my channel. Anyway, I'm sitting here at a ridiculous signal, like typical in LA. Okay, we're getting on the freeway here, 101 South. Let's see. I knew it. This is typical afternoon traffic here in the west end of the San Fernando Valley. What time is it? It's about 3:45 in the afternoon. Or if you have a special vehicle or something, you get to go through the carpool thing. But I don't. I'm a single guy here and I don't have an electric car. So here we are. I was telling you about that pet cemetery. It's right across the street, right, kind of right below that patch of green up there that you see on the hill. It's kind of up right there. So I'll go over there one day and give you a little tour of that. You know, since I'm in Calabasas, I should mention right over there is the MPTF, which is the Motion Picture and Television Fund Hospital. And that's where a lot of people from Hollywood, not just actors, but anybody that's involved in the industry, can retire there. And it's kind of like a, not, I wouldn't say a retirement home, but it's, well, maybe that's what it is. I mean, it's got a hospital and the whole thing. Many people, many actors and whatnot, if you do a Google search on the Motion Picture Television Fund Hospital, you'll see that many of the different people that have lived here and actually died here. I know the Three Stooges years ago were here when, but that was a long time ago. Anyway, that's kind of a cool thing. I know Steven Spielberg actually donated a lot of money, and they have a wing over on the other side, so there's a street now named after Steven Spielberg Drive coming up. So anyway, I got to shut this off. I'm in the middle of an intersection. Okay, we're going to check out the other back gate of Hidden Hills, right up the street, Burbank here. Coming up to the back gate of Hidden Hills up here. right up there. That way we'll turn around. That's it. In this neighborhood, you can actually see one of the biggest houses of Hidden Hills that was built right up on the hill up there. They're asking $25 million. You can see another portion of it. It's right up on the hill up there. So we're right on the outskirts of the San Fernando Valley here. Right up there in that house. $25 million home in Hidden Hills. There you go.